Welcome to Iraqi Dinar, your trusted source for verified currency developments. What you're about to hear isn't recycled speculation or internet gossip. It's not the latest rumor from chat rooms or some dramatic hype from self-proclaimed financial gurus. This is something else entirely. It's rooted in real, verifiable action inside major financial systems, the kind of movement you don't see unless a seismic shift is underway. This moment marks a significant departure from years of hopeful guessing. And if you've been following this space, whether casually or seriously, you'll want to pay attention. Because we are now entering a new era of actual confirmation. Not hearsay, not projections. We're talking about clear institutional signals, movements that are showing up directly inside central banking infrastructure and global financial networks. Two names stand at the center of this breaking development: the Central Bank of Iraq and Chase Bank. These are not fringe players. They are not acting independently. These institutions are deeply embedded within the global monetary system. And when they act in sync, it means something big is happening. For a long time, speculation ruled this community. People hoped. People predicted. People waited. And waited. But today, we're not waiting. Today, we have the clearest indicators yet that something transformative is unfolding. Something that's been anticipated for years by currency holders, traders, and financial analysts alike. Here's what just happened. The Central Bank of Iraq, through its internal systems, displayed a shock rate change from the long-standing official exchange rate of 1310 dinars per US dollar to just 480. A drastic revaluation. This was not a typo. This was not a simulation. This was an actual trigger inside their operational system. And even though the rate disappeared from the system within about 20 minutes, it was too late. The information was already captured. Automation systems logged it. Screenshots were taken. Secure institutional channels began buzzing immediately. The moment the bulletin disappeared, the clock started ticking. And just 2 hours later, Chase Bank, one of the most influential banks in the Western Hemisphere, activated what's called a Tier 3 currency alert. These alerts are not seen by the public. They are not for regular bank staff. Tier 3 alerts are internal notifications used by foreign exchange desks to prepare the back-end infrastructure for major currency revaluations. They don't get triggered unless a high-level institutional signal has been received. Now let's talk about what was in that alert. It didn't just reference the Iraqi Dinar. It also included the Vietnamese Dong, and both currencies were shown with stress test simulation rates, 0.81 US dollars per dinar and $0.47 per dong. These are massive jumps from their current market values. And this isn't something Chase does casually. Banks at that level only simulate rates like this when they've been told, in no uncertain terms, to prepare for execution. The kind of direction that typically comes from entities like the IMF. This puts us in rare territory. When multiple banking systems across regions begin running parallel stress tests and syncing their operations, it's no longer about if something will happen. It's about when. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, the State Bank of Vietnam quietly issued internal memos to select financial institutions and key government-aligned branches. These memos instructed them to immediately freeze large physical exports of the Vietnamese Dong and limit outbound currency transfers. Moves like this are strategic and deliberate. They're textbook actions for nations preparing to revalue. They lock down liquidity to prevent manipulation or arbitrage right before the rate changes. All of these events, Iraq's system trigger, Chase Bank's Tier 3 alert, and Vietnam's internal lockdown, point to one undeniable conclusion. This is a coordinated realignment. It's not isolated. It's not accidental. It's a carefully orchestrated transition that has moved beyond planning. It's now in execution. Further evidence of this coordination is surfacing in the U.S., where verified sources have confirmed that specialized redemption centers are no longer in planning status. They are now on 72-hour operational alert in key states like Texas, Florida, Ohio, and Arizona. These centers aren't just currency exchange booths. They're fully equipped facilities with biometric ID systems, encrypted communication lines, security teams, and full compliance protocols for handling high-value currency transactions. These centers are now reportedly receiving sealed rate packets, documents that contain final confirmed exchange rates and operational instructions. When those packets move, it's not a drill. They typically arrive 24 to 48 hours before exchanges go live. That means we're in the final countdown phase. For those holding IQD or VND, this is the moment you've been preparing for. It's no longer about hope. It's about verified institutional action. And everything now hinges on your readiness. Not just emotionally, but logistically and legally. First, gather and organize your documents. Make sure you have purchase receipts, certificates of authenticity, or transaction confirmations from authorized sources. Have your identification ready, passports, driver's licenses, and secondary verification where required. Next, and this is critical, maintain silence. Do not post about your holdings online. Don't discuss them in forums or group chats. Careless disclosure can lead to disqualification or even risk your personal security. Loose talk can cost you access to these structured exchanges entirely. You also need to make sure your legal and financial advisors are in place. A knowledgeable tax advisor is not optional. It's essential. Same goes for legal counsel. The last thing you want is to trip over compliance issues or leave wealth on the table because you weren't properly. This is not about exchanging a few notes at a kiosk. This is about securing generational wealth through structured, compliant financial transition. And this moment, right now, may be the narrow window where that's possible. Because once these rates go live, the opportunity will be fleeting. These kinds of shifts don't take place over years. Once triggered, they unfold in days, sometimes hours. You don't get second chances. When the window closes, it closes. We are witnessing a full-scale recalibration of suppressed currencies that have, for decades, been held down by political controls, legacy frameworks, and economic interference. Iraq and Vietnam, with the support of international partners, now appear to be leading the charge in reversing that. These developments are not guesses. They are happening within the secure back-end systems of financial institutions. They are time-stamped, cross-verified, and fully documented. Screenshots, audit trails, system logs, that's the level of verification we're now working with. And the systems preparing for this aren't obscure or theoretical. They're the same systems used for real-time international settlements, SWIFT protocols, and high-level compliance checks. These systems are not running test simulations anymore. They're running rehearsals for public-facing execution. That only happens when the switch is about to flip. If you've positioned yourself for this, if you hold IQD or VND and have been tracking this journey, then now is not the time to relax. Now is the time to act with calm, calculated precision. And if you want real-time alerts, verified updates, and continued access to clear, responsible reporting, subscribe now. Enable notifications, because the next 48 to 72 hours could define more than your portfolio. It could define your financial legacy. Iraqi Dinar Info isn't here to entertain. We're here to inform, based solely on what's real, what's confirmed, and what's unfolding. No hype, no guessing, just the facts. This moment won't last forever, but it's here. And if you're prepared, it could change your life. Stay sharp, stay ready, stay silent, and we'll keep you updated every step of